guys, it's Dale here with Backwards Hack Gaming, and today I wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about the news from the conference last night. For those of you who watched the live stream reaction and analysis, it was interesting. Yeah, I didn't expect... I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect much from last night's business strategy, but I did expect more than we got. And I think that's the problem, is there was an expectation. Even though I know on Tuesday we're going to have tons of new info, I wasn't expecting so little from the business strategy seminar thing. But that's fine. I want to jump into this. I just want to discuss a couple of things that were announced and give you my sort of, now that I've slept on it, what I honestly think about it. The first thing I want to talk about is Pokemon Home. So Pokemon Home is the successor to the Pokemon Bank that we had on our 3DS systems, which essentially enabled you to push all your Pokemon from all your games into one location for easy transferring and whatever. Honestly, it was like the greatest thing Nintendo ever did for Pokemon fans. I honestly feel, because it made collecting that much easier, it made storage that much easier, you didn't have to worry about losing things from games to games, and if you were like me and you know, shiny hunt in like old school games, and you wanted a way to transfer that forward, you were able to, or if you had some really cool stuff that, you know, meant a lot to you because you forged emotional connections with things, you were able to do that too, so that's great, and I really applaud them for Pokemon Bank. So, going from that, it was fair to assume that a successor had to come to work with the Switch, because we know the Switch doesn't have bank compatibility. Thus, Pokemon Home. So, what we can see from the base image right here is that, so they're saying that the 3DS and Pokemon Bank are going to work into Pokemon Home. Which, for those of you who maybe forget about your bank and haven't touched it in a while, you might want to go in just to refresh it, because I know that if you leave it alone for too long, there's a chance that your stuff could get deleted. So if you have some really important stuff in there, like shinies or things like that, that mean a lot to you, that you've worked your butt off of, or rather your butt off for, very, very important that you at least go in there every couple months. Just even turning it on and moving stuff around just saves you that. Anyway, so we can see that there's going to be connectivity between the 3DS Bank, the current Let's Go games, the new Sword and Shield games, and Pokemon Go. What's interesting is they're saying that we can transfer only to Pokemon Home, but we can transfer out for Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is, it makes complete sense. It makes complete sense, because we're going to be wanting, for example, to play through Sword and Shield with stuff from other games, so that's good to know. The other really important thing about that is that they're delaying the release, so it's not going to be when Sword and Shield comes out. Which, yes, thank you, because the last thing people want is for the meta to get all messed up because people are allowed to bring in all these OP Pokemon from previous generations. So it'll be nice to actually see the Pokemon from Sword and Shield highlighted for a couple of months until Pokemon Home comes out. Anyways, this is, I think, the biggest win from last night's business strategy seminar thing. They did also announce Detective Pikachu for the Switch, which I'm very happy for, because bring that story forward, let people experience it. I'm all for more games on the Switch. 100%. I love the Switch. It's a great system. You know, bring out more. Let's do it. That's what I think. The other thing that was announced, we're leaving the more controversial one for after because I have thoughts, was Pokemon Masters, which is going to be a new mobile game that they're making, and they said that will release calendar year this year. So it's looking like it's going to be one of those gacha games where you have to work towards unlocking characters and you can play through a story and blah blah blah. It's going to be energy based. There was a screenshot where, you know, you could see that there's energy to refresh moves and stuff like that. So it's going to be one of those time-gated, heavily monetized games, I feel. Is that what we need? No. Does it look great? Yes. It actually looks pretty good. So I would probably be doing I'd probably giving that a very good look if and when it does come out. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. It looks cool. I mean, they didn't really show off much. They didn't really talk much. I expect we're going to get more info on Tuesday. So that's something. Yeah, that's something. But Pokemon Masters, it's a cool little thing. It's different. Considering all the other mobile games we've had have been so singularly focused in that Pokemon Go is just catch Pokemon, walk around, catch Pokemon. Pokemon Duel is, you have, the duel. And that's cool. I'm not saying it's not. It's very cool. I'm just saying it's nice to have something that's different and maybe has a bit more story behind it, even if it isn't canonical story. So that's that. And then the best thing they announced. I can't even. There it is. Let's do this, because there actually is nothing on this anywhere. The other thing they announced last night is Pokemon Sleep. Now, last night in my reaction video, I was in stitches because I couldn't believe this was actually a thing. Now that I've slept on it and done some internal thinking, I can maybe kind of understand what they're trying to do. So, with Pokemon Go, and I kind of actually had this discussion with a friend of mine on stream last night, so if you actually watch the stream to the end, you can see part of that discussion. One thing Pokemon has done is it's tried to bring wellness to everyone, if that makes sense. So what I can see that they're trying to do, let's backpedal it further. Pokemon Go brought, so they say they made walking entertainment or entertaining, and it's true. People argue and say, well, walking didn't need to be entertaining. No, it didn't. But the advent of Pokemon Go made it so that people who maybe weren't as interested now had a reason to go out, now have a reason to socialize. There's Discord groups everywhere for towns and cities with people who play Pokemon Go, and they meet up and they do raids and they do all these things. So Pokemon Go did a lot of good things. I want to make that completely clear. Now, the next logical step is Pokemon Sleep. What they plan to do with this is still so lost to me. The Niantic developer mentioned at one point, he said, if we, people will be rewarded based on good sleep habits. So that, to me, indicates that their goal with this is to sort of help better people's ability to sleep. And you'll get rewards if you can sleep. But then the question is, what about people who can't? What about people who suffer from, insomnia? Hi, me. What are we going to do for them? So, again, I wish they had just given us a little bit more info just so that we could wrap our heads around what it is they're trying to do. There's a new peripheral that's going to act, the Pokemon Go Plus. Horrible name choice, but we'll leave that alone. And they're going to, there's going to be, I think it's right here, actually. Yeah, the button. The button. It's going to work as a new Pokemon Go Plus, but it's also going to work for Pokemon Sleep, and it's going to track everything. I think they mentioned it's going to have a better accelerometer, which means chances are if it's on you, it's going to be tracking your individual steps throughout the day, as opposed to the distance traveled with those steps. Whereas Adventure Sync right now, it uses your GPS location data to check, okay, so you moved from this point to this point, and we calculated that, and that was 400 steps, and that's 400 steps, and you walked 400 meters, then congratulations. I highly doubt that's exactly how it works, but in layman's terms, that's pretty much how it's going to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if now with this new peripheral, they're going to have a better way of tracking your actual movement, so that, they, at the end of the day, you can see that Pokemon is trying to, and they're doing it quite smart. They're trying to bring fun and something different to the health and wellness sector. Masquerading as a game, but in theory, designed to help better people's lives. It's not a bad idea. It's just, I wish if they'd just given some kind of indication as to what they were going to do, how it was going to work, what the benefits were, I feel that we as a community would be less apprehensive about it. I know I wouldn't be, because I'd be like, okay, well, this is simple. This is what it is. This is how it works, and a preliminary way of understanding it is this is, it is what it is. But, yeah, we didn't get that. We didn't get that. And that's fine. That's completely fine. I expect we're probably going to hear something next week with this, unless they keep their lips tight about it and they leave it to Niantic to talk about it in the future, which I have a feeling is going to be the case because the lead guy from Niantic said you'll be hearing more from us in the future. Meaning I expect that all the information will come from Niantic and less so from the Pokemon Company, but I would be very happy if the Pokemon Company gave us info instead. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Again, I know that Pokemon Sleep is becoming a bit of a meme, naturally, but I would be very interested to see what you guys think. How do you honestly feel about these announcements? Because at the end of the day, they want to call them announcements. I don't feel they're announcements. I feel they're just talking points. Like, if you're going to announce something that's going to be, like, crazy, but they didn't really. They talked about Godzilla, which was wild. And then they talked about these things, but they said a lot of information without actually showing anything, and I think that's kind of the problem. Like last year we got Let's Go, we got Pokemon Duel? No. I forget what the other thing we got was Pokemon Quest. So, yeah, I was expecting a bit more. I was expecting a bit more showcase. I understand that we're having a trailer next week on Tuesday. We're going to do a live stream for that. So make sure to tune in. It's at 9 o'clock in the morning, EST. So that's fun. That's fun. But anyways, I've rambled long enough for today. So yeah, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm down to hear what you guys have to say about these new announcements. But until next time, guys, I'm Ale. This is Backwards Tag Gaming, and I'll see you next time.